Welcome to your November 2021 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be covering the major transits for the month ahead using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. I strongly recommend that you watch your horoscope for your ascendant sign first and foremost because it will be the most accurate for you overall. Having said that, if you've got time to watch your sun and moon sign horoscopes as well, go for it because the sun sign horoscope will tell you more about your life goals and your career, whereas the moon sign horoscope will pertain more to your living circumstances and your family life. Now, I've got an exciting announcement to make. I am putting together 2022 horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs. So these horoscopes will be super in-depth and you'll be able to purchase yours on sale if you buy during November or in the first 2 weeks of December. So these will retail for $16.99 US, but you'll be able to purchase yours on sale during that period of time for just $12.99. So please make sure you are subscribed to the channel and checking the website regularly because there will be an announcement once these are available for sale. And now let's dive into the November horoscopes. Hi Taurus Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your November 2021 horoscope. Before I get into this month's horoscope, I'm going to do something a little bit different and pull an animal totem card just to see what energies are at play for us Taurians. Okay, so we've got the unicorn. Okay, that's beautiful. I love this. I'm a Taurus as well, so with the unicorn card, this is all about not being shy when it comes to showing your unique abilities, okay? If you have something artistic or creative that you love doing, or if there's something that you have been a little bit hesitant to share with other people because you're worried about them judging you, the unicorn card is here to say, don't worry about it. Whatever it is that makes you different and unique is beautiful, and other people are going to admire you for it. Now, on the 30th of October, yes, the previous month, we saw Mars entering the sign of Scorpio. So Mars will be in Scorpio for the entirety of November, and given that Mars naturally rules Scorpio and Mars will be transiting your 7th house of partnerships, you could meet someone who is very Mars-like in nature. So this could be an Aries or Scorpio sun, moon or rising. Now, on one level, yes, this could be a romantic partnership, but it doesn't have to be. The 7th house is all about your one-on-one relationships. So you could be making a new friend. You could be doing business with someone. You could be closing a deal. You could be engaging the services of some kind of consultant. Now, you don't necessarily have to be meeting someone. Mars represents where we are putting our energy and effort. So with Mars transiting your 7th house, if you are single and actively looking, this can see you putting energy and effort into trying to find a suitable partner. But of course, this could be scoping out someone for some kind of consulting position. Maybe you're looking for someone to do business with. Maybe you are looking for someone who has a very specialized area of knowledge. Mars rules over things like innovation. It rules over engineering, and it also rules over any kind of entrepreneurial initiative that we start. So maybe you're on the lookout or putting feelers out to help you in one of those areas. For those of you who are in a relationship, this can see things really spicing up in that romantic relationship, or maybe there's just a very big focus on your relationship and perhaps your significant other just has a lot of responsibilities and demands at this time, which will be about a 7-week period. So Mars will be in Scorpio till about halfway through December. Now, on a different level, you may actually discover that someone who you are in a one-on-one relationship with, or this new person who enters your life, could actually be checking up on you. And I say that because Mars rules over your 12th house, and the 12th house is connected to anything which is hidden and anything which is, well, a secret basically. And of course, Mars in Scorpio, the sign of being secretive, it basically shows that someone is doing a little more research into their connection or their partnership with you. Now, the 4th or 5th of November, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon in Scorpio at 12 degrees in your 7th house of one-on-one relationships and partnerships. This new moon will be in a wide conjunction with Mars, which is the ruler of this new moon. And the new moon will also be in exact opposition with Uranus in Taurus in your 1st house. And lastly, it will be forming a square to Saturn in Aquarius in your 10th house. New moons indicate a new chapter or a new beginning taking off somewhere in our lives. Given that this is occurring in your 7th house of one-on-one relationships, this can see you forming a partnership or an alliance with another individual. Yes, this can be romantic, but this can also be a business partnership, a friend, or you could just be taking someone on as a new client. Now, because Mars is in Scorpio, we see that this person or this partnership that you're forming is absolutely rock solid, okay? Given that it's in opposition to Uranus in your 1st house, I see this as being a relationship or an alliance which shocks the pants off of other people. So this opposition to Uranus represents you making some kind of unpredictable choice here. Because Uranus rules over your 10th house, which represents your public persona and basically your reputation, people may be questioning this decision that you are making. Because the new moon is squaring Saturn in your 10th house, there may be an authority figure, whether this is a parent, a grandparent, or even a boss or someone in a position of authority at your workplace who basically doesn't agree with this decision that you are making. So this can see you acting very abruptly or acting very quickly on this opportunity that is brought forth to you by this other person. Whether this is a proposal to enter into a relationship or take your existing relationship to the next level, once again, whether that is romantic, platonic, or business, in any case, this disrupts the carefully curated persona or reputation which you have had for however long. Okay, people are going to see this relationship or this decision as being totally out of character for you as a steady and stable Taurus. Now, of course, Uranus has been transiting your 1st house or transiting the sign of Taurus for quite some time. So whatever decision it is that you are making, it's likely that this has been in the works for a while, but it's just that you haven't really announced this to the world or you haven't really made it known to other people. Now, with this promise that you make to another person or with this relationship or connection that you're forming, you are being asked to basically wear this on your sleeve. And that's because Uranus rules over your 10th house. The 10th house represents your status. And with this square to Saturn, which represents your career and what you've built for a very long time, being in the 10th house, it's sort of like whatever decision you make, whatever relationship you're entering into, you cannot escape the eyes that are going to be on you and the mouths that are going to be talking about this decision that you are making. Now, on the 10th of November, Mercury and Mars will be conjunct in Scorpio in your 7th house. Once again, the 7th house represents your one-on-one relationships and your partnerships. So the 7th house rules over commitments, promises, and vows that we make. So this commitment that you are making is likely to involve another person, as indicated by the ruler of your 7th house being Mars, being involved in this conjunction and transiting your 7th house. Mercury rules over your 2nd house. So perhaps you are making some kind of verbal promise, or you're, basically speaking about your plans with this other individual. And, whatever promise you make, even if it's verbal, these can be binding. So that's something that you are going to want to be very careful about. So just make sure that you are clearly seeing what you're getting yourself into. Mercury rules over your 5th house, which represents you owning your own business, and it also rules over your creative gifts and talents. So perhaps you're collaborating with another individual as represented by the 7th house, and somehow you either have to commit your creative abilities and talents to this partnership, or you're basically promising to help them with something. Or on another level, Mercury rules over your 2nd house of finances and resources. Maybe you are saying to someone, hey, I'm going to invest X amount into this business venture, or I'm going to, basically give some of my money to you to help you with some kind of conflict or issue that you're experiencing. And I say that because Mars rules over your 12th house. From your horoscope's perspective, your 12th house is their 6th house. So maybe this other person has a loan that they need to pay off. Maybe they won't be approved for a loan unless your name is also on this document. Or maybe you're just helping them to fix some area which is, in disarray in their life. Maybe this person has a conflict and they need your expertise, or they need your money and your resources. Now, on a different level, what you commit to this other person will be known to the public. And I say that because the 7th house in astrology rules over the audience. So other people are going to know about whatever dealings you're doing with this other individual. Now, on the 14th of November, Mercury in Scorpio in your 7th house will oppose Uranus in Taurus in your 1st house. Then 4 days later, on the 18th of November, we will see Mars in Scorpio in your 7th house, also opposing Uranus in Taurus in your 1st house. So I'm going to interpret these two transits together, especially because they're in such close proximity to each other, and I believe that they will be interconnected. So Mercury rules over your ideas, it rules over communications that you have, and it also represents sales and contracts and vehicles and technology. Mars represents your strategy or your action plan, and it represents taking initiative with something. Now, Uranus can represent a sudden change or a break with what was pre-existing. What's important to note is that Mercury, Mars, and Uranus are 3 very fast-moving planets. So when these 3 guys get together, things can happen really quickly, okay? So this transit or this double transit can see you having to break a promise or a commitment that you made to another person. Now, I believe that this will basically have to take place in order for you to honor the commitment that you made with the Mercury and Mars conjunction. Uranus rules over your 10th house. And once again, the 10th house represents our status. So a 10th house activation can look like a change in marital status, being employed and now being unemployed, retiring. It can be the difference between you being single and being taken, or you becoming a parent or a grandparent. Essentially, this double opposition to Uranus in your 1st house, which shows the decisions that you are making, indicates that you have to break your word or go back on a promise. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic. You may be committed to your existing employer, as indicated by Uranus ruling over your 10th house. And of course, Saturn is transiting your 10th house as well. So perhaps you had said to your boss that you were going to, stick around for a few more weeks, and then you were going to go on leave, or then you were going to go and resign. And now you have to go back on your word because you've found other employment. Or perhaps you said that you would contribute to helping someone financially, but now this other promise that you've made or these other intentions that you have basically mean that you can't have your cake and eat it too, and something's got to give. Lastly, with this transit, you will be pushed to make a decision very, very quickly. And I'm starting to look over at my unicorn card here, which has, the horn from the head, which reminds me of Mars energy. This is about piercing the veil, measuring twice and cutting once. So you basically just want to, act swiftly and this will be the most painless method for all. You don't want to be dragging things out and basically keeping people hanging. This transit, this opposition between Mercury and Uranus and Mars and Uranus is asking you to rip the band-aid off so that you can all move forward. Now, lastly for the month, there will be a full moon eclipse in Taurus in your first house. Wow, this is going to be such a powerful eclipse for all Taurians. If I had to narrow this down to the ones who would be most impacted, I would say anyone who is in the third decan of Taurus. So if you have Taurus sun, moon, or rising from 20 degrees through to 29 degrees, this is going to impact you guys the most. And of course, if you have a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant at 27 degrees, mark this one in your calendar. Full moon eclipses are all about the ending of a chapter or a cycle in our lives, similar to a full moon, which we experience every month, but different in the sense that eclipses are like full moons on steroids. So given that this is in your first house, we want to look at what your ruling planet is doing at this time. Venus, which is your chart ruler or the ruler of your sun or moon, will be in Capricorn, and it will be making a trine to Uranus in Taurus in your first house. So this ending of a chapter can come about swiftly and painlessly, similar to what I was saying with the previous transit. Venus rules over our money, our wealth, our resources, everything that we value, and it also rules over our relationships. Now, given that it is in the sign of Capricorn, which is a very unforgiving sign. I'm not saying Capricorns are unforgiving. I'm just saying that, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, we can have very strict or severe ideas or approaches to what we should be doing with our money, with our relationships, with our resources. And this can extend to what our values are. And Venus also rules over what we eat. And this full moon eclipse can see many of you Taurians experiencing the end of a difficult chapter when it comes to a relationship that you have been trying to exit. Now, this could be romantic, yes, or this could actually be a commitment or a relationship to an employer. And I say that because Venus rules over your 6th house in Libra, which represents work. Now, the 6th house also rules over our health. So some of you Taurians may be seeing the end of a chapter take place when it comes to a diet that you've been following, or this could be issues with eating, whether that's disordered eating, an actual eating disorder, or perhaps this is to do with some kind of addiction that you have. And this would involve things like smoking or, anything which involves a substance. Now, on a different level, you may have been extremely strict with yourself about how you spend money and what you invest in, because Venus rules over our valuables and our possessions. So this full moon eclipse can see a lot of Taurians basically loosening their grip on these rigid ideas that they have when it comes to relationships, money, resources, and your valuables and possessions. And maybe most importantly, this can see you loosening your grip, or at the very least being a lot less critical when it comes to yourself and how you speak about yourself, because Venus rules over the voice. So how you refer to yourself, how you refer to the abundance that you deserve, the financial independence that you deserve, or even the relationship that you deserve, all of this can be incredibly powerful if it's spoken into existence. Now, with Venus in Capricorn in your 9th house, trining Uranus and Taurus in your 1st house, this can show that you're finally seeing the bigger picture, and perhaps you are having this unexpected yet radical acceptance of what your future can look like. Now, this could pertain to your relationship status, as shown by Uranus ruling over your 10th house. And of course, this full moon eclipse is ultimately answering to Saturn, and that's because the ruler of the eclipse is Venus. Venus is in Capricorn. Saturn rules over Capricorn. Saturn just stationed direct in Aquarius the month before, and it is in the sign that it rules. So this is about you having integrity, but also having the courage to stand up for who you want to be, what you want to do in your future, who you want to be in a committed relationship with, and who you don't want to be in a relationship with. In any case, I see this as being an extremely powerful full moon eclipse for you. And lastly with this one, this eclipse will be squaring Jupiter in Aquarius in your 10th house. Jupiter rules over expansion and growth. And because it's in the 10th house, which represents your public persona, your reputation, and your highest worldly achievements, it's like realizing that the world is your oyster, and now you may feel a little bit daunted by how much freedom you have and, picking the direction that you want to go in next. But with the full moon trining Pluto in Capricorn in your 9th house, you will be able to transform your vision for the future and act in alignment with your best and highest good. And so Taurus, that's all I have for you for November 2021. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy your month ahead, and I will see you guys next month.